Yo, it's Guido. I got two in that time. Usually it's one yo, but I said yo. I'm a yo. Hey, yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. We have Night Dog, Clan GFLC in his Object 705. He said he had a pretty good game, but he got to a point and he said wasn't sure what to do next, so he wanted me to take a look. You know, Night Dog, there's several of you who have been fantastic supporters of my channel. Night Dog is definitely at the top of that list. He's been around since the very beginning, one of the first guys that started commenting on my videos and things, so I really appreciate it. So because of that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Night Dog's replay here so we can properly talk about how terrible he is at the game and all the things he did wrong and just completely embarrass. Wait a minute. Hold on. Things I want to say but I should not. Oops. Alright, that's not funny. It's not funny. It's not true either. It's not funny or true. But yeah, well, it is true. It's partly true because Night Dog has been an absolute awesome supporter. So we're going to take a look at Night Dog's Object 705 game. He's tier 9, top tier in a 2-tier battle. He is here on Ensk. I got it right before looking at it in a encounter battle. Alright, so we'll just get going here. We're not going to wait 28 seconds. So at the beginning of this match, let's take a look at this and think about what we want to do. So I want you to all just pause for a second. You're in this battle, you're in your 705, your top tier, looks like you're one of the big bad boys on the map. There is a T-95 over there, so take a look at the enemy lineup. We have 2 artillery, that's problematic, so there are some places you want to try to be careful with. We are in Ensk, so we could go to the town, or we could go into the tracks area / east of the tracks area into these buildings, basically right in front. Right there, those are basically our 2 options. I suppose there could be a third option, a third and fourth option. Go into the field, not a good idea. You're out in the open with the 2 already TDs, you're just going to get seen everywhere. And while there is some cover, it's not fantastic. Or you could go, hey diddle diddle, right up the middle down the tracks. Again, probably not a great idea because they're going to react to you and they can form a big crossfire up here in the north. So right off the bat, we probably know if we have any kind of experience in this game, we're going over here to the city or we're going to work in these buildings with an eye towards moving through. All right. We also know it's an encounter map. And because it's an encounter map on Ensk, the high percentage play is to win the field as soon as possible. Based on a couple things. Number 1, they've all spawned here, and that's the fastest way to get into each other's face. Number 2, it is hard to cap out an encounter mode, especially on this map. It's right here and it's easy to decap and it takes forever. So the idea that I'm going to send a big force over and get on the cap and somehow guard that cap with 2 artillery and the multiple avenues of fire that can come onto the cap with all kinds of cover, it just isn't happening. All right, so this is one of those maps. It's a lot like Himmelsdorp. That Himmels place. The hill is everything on encounter. The field, the buildings, the east side of the map is everything on this map. It's not quite as analog, I think, as Himmelsdorp is. You can go the other way if you're fast enough. The idea being that I go through these buildings as fast as possible and I sweep around behind the guys that are being held over here on the east. That's the key. Being held. If you send too many of your forces goofing around in the city and you get stopped by 2 or 3 tanks with your 5, 6, 7 tanks and you let these guys get gobbled up by their bigger force, you're in big trouble. You're not going to cap and now you are flanked, right? Because you weren't doing it fast enough. Most of the time in a pub battle, there is not enough organization to make the push through the city work. It can happen. I'm not telling you the only way to win is to be out here in the east. What I'm telling you is the high percentage play is on the east in this map. It just is. If every single tank you had went charging up into this area and wiped out whatever they sent this way and then gobbled up these guys later, you would probably win 9.9 games out of 10. Unless they did the same thing. In which case it's going to be a superior, fantastic brawl right in this area right here. So that's my 2 cents on the basic setup for this. So if I'm looking at this, I'm loading in, I'm deciding where to go, I'm going to the east side, I'm going into the buildings, and I'm going to start working my way through it. I'm going to keep the knowledge of the 2 artillery in the back of my mind. I'm going to try to figure out where they are. I'm going to minimize my exposure to them. And then I've got to be careful about not getting exposed to all the snipers that are going to be hanging out here and the guys that want to pop out behind buildings. So all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with Night Dog. I would go to the buildings. This is, in fact, where Night Dog goes. And then we have a lockup. Oh, there we go. All right. So we're pushing in. We're going to go left. I don't go this way, Night Dog, because people get around that corner down there and look for shots early. Looks like you fade left, but then you come back right. You're really just asking a fast tank that wants to come right around this corner right here to take a shot at you. All right? Yeah, you're looking at it, but this approach. And what's interesting here, though, is he's got something in mind. All right? He's going to go to a very aggressive forward position, and I think right now is not the time necessarily to do that, Night Dog. I would have posted up back here and seen what's going on. I love the aggressiveness of it, and we're going to talk about it because one thing that this position does, I'm going to let him go ahead and get in there actually. One thing this position does is you are now a thorn in their side, right? There's not a lot they can do up above. This 103 is now threatened by you. In fact, I think you have some shots in his side right there you may have missed. You might have been able to pause and take a shot on that guy right there. You can threaten the Progetto by backing out a little bit. You can come forward. You can take on guys trying to come around this corner, and you got this nice bit of rock in front of you. So as far as an anchor point for your team, it's great. Now here's the problem. Take a look at the mini-map, folks, and I'll let you guys just chew on that for a minute and tell me what Night Dog's problem is right now. Yeah, he played the map, not necessarily the team. This is the danger of going to aggressive spots like this. I run into this all the time. I'm sure you do as well, because for him to get here soon and anchor this spot, he had to get moving. So it's hard to tell initially when you make that decision and start charging whether your team's going to help you, and his is not. His is not. And now it's going to have to be the Night Dog show. So let's see what happens as Night Dog comes in here and these guys try to figure out what to do with this crazed 705 that's gone into the middle. And Night Dog then finds his worst nightmare. Two worst nightmares. First, the M53-55 has the easy shots on him. That's a bummer. Okay? Easy shots. And he's facing a T95 right there, which I think bounced. Did he bounce? Yes, he bounced that first 750. What he's hoping is that guy doesn't somehow get into his weak spot on the roof, or potentially dab 3 and start pounding him, or whatever number he's got HE set up with. Start dabbing HE and start pounding the living snot out of him. So now he's watching the T95, and he's going to just aim in. I might have jiggled around a little bit, but wow, just zooming in on that guy and absolutely sniped that weak spot. That was really nicely done right there. T95 backs off, and now his team is filtering up, and it looks like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that have gone into the town are finally kind of getting engaged. The enemy's T10 is down there. Yeah, there you go. We kind of move around a little bit to get that shot. Nicely done on the Progetto right there. Just had to wiggle a bit to get that shot. Not a lot of great gun depression on the 705 here. Now you do have to be careful, and I've noticed you just knocked that out. I've noticed you pay attention to it a couple times, but obviously when you start turning your turret sideways, that entices people from over here to shoot you into the side of the turret. We're trying to see if we can get a shot. I think I would have just taken that shot. T95 is doing what? There we go. So now he's coming back. I don't know what this poor 1:30 p.m. is doing, but it was not a good idea. Nice job right there. If you notice, guys, he just shot through the fence. All right, the fences you can shoot through. HE and Hesh will not go through. The AP or APCR will. No problem. And diminished pen as it goes through, but enough to go through a Su-130 PM from this bad boy, the 705. A little bit curious. I'm not really sure what the 53-55 was doing. Maybe he didn't like the amount of damage he was getting from hitting Night Dog, and I didn't do the exact timing, but I feel like he didn't pound on Night Dog quite as much as he could have. We see the standard B moving back. Oh, and just get a little bit unlucky with a shot that goes a little bit low. I think you had a couple opportunities on the standard B. We'll talk about some more a little while later. Be careful about the turret. You see it, and now you're just kind of coming forward and just bink. The gun on this thing is actually not bad. It is fairly accurate. Not a bad gun at all. So he drops another bit of damage on top. And the T95 is not interested anymore. He's in trouble driving up onto these things. Take a shot in there, but we're either at a building or the ground. All right, so I think maybe this is about the point where Night Dog said I wasn't exactly sure what to do. Take a look at it, man. Okay, T10's making some noise, pushing in. It looks like it's 4-3, so we have a slight advantage. I think our town guys are probably in good shape, but we have quite a few enemy tanks up here. The T95 is still dangerous. The Udez 16, he's close to a one-shot for our Alpha. There is a Sturv. The Barras can be completely problematic because of its speed and the fact that it hits so hard twice in a row. With only 1100 damage, this is probably not the time to move forward, but I would start looking for that opportunity. I do like to get up here to this building up here, but as long as the T95's there and there's a lot of friends, and of course now the Udez has stopped that, he's moved up close to us. There's our buddy, the 53-55 again, he's finally taken a shot. I think I would have used my kit right here, but it doesn't matter because we put another one right into that guy's hatch, so that was nicely done. The Udez is now realizing he has to do something about you. He needs to make you go away, and you're on the reload. Unfortunately for him, he's not able to hit you. It was a good idea not to follow him around the corner because these guys were looking for shots on you, and now we got the standard. And I think we did a little bit of kind of panic on which guy to go after. I might have gone after the standard right there, but either way I would have at least tried to take a shot. The negative is that maybe the Udez is now enticed to come after you, but you do have some friends who have finally started to move up to try to take this guy down. It looks like maybe you want to make him go away. Nicely done. And now the 103-0 has moved away from the sniper spot up there, which is very good for you. And now's the time to push forward. Right? Now's the time to push forward. You've got the standard in the Barras, so there is some cover. There we go. Kind of looking for a shot on this guy maybe. I think I just take that shot and move. Take that shot and move forward and get up to that building up there about where the Sturv is. Little shot comes in on you as well. Your guys in the city are still holding out. The Sturv's making a move. Now that's making it even nicer to move forward on these guys. So we're just kind of holding. Baraska's doing his thing. So you can hit him nice. Put a little shot into the roof. That was really well done right there. And now that your Panthers move forward and the Sturv is dead, it's time to go get these dudes. We got to go get these dudes. The last thing I want to do now is allow the artillery to continue to shoot at me and have all kinds of options. I also would have liked to have saved my Panther 2 from dying. So he goes forward. He starts leveraging some possibilities for you, but he ends up dying right there. And I think if you'd have moved forward and started giving these guys a little grief, maybe the 7-1 starts to follow in as well. What's his hit points? Yeah, he's kind of hurt as well. And what we're also doing here is tempting the artillery, right? We have to get in here and start working these guys down. The longer we sit in places where artillery can hit us, the more they will do so. So the standard B is close to a one-shot. What's our alpha on this thing? We're going to need a pretty high roll to take that guy down. So we come around this corner. I wouldn't have come around with my side, man. You wanted, yeah, I would have shifted, maybe even side scraped against him right there. Now he's going to try to go around. He gets a shot into us. Artie takes a thump on us, and then our buddy kills that guy. And now we're down to, holy cow, 66 hit points. Can't fix the gun. The artillery's on a reload. The 155-51's unlikely to hit us because he's up in there unless we break out into the open. I think I would have gone to the right of that building and gone right at the Barask right there. And maybe he comes around and gets that shot. I don't know, but there we go. That guy missed. Fantastic. And we've got to kill this Barask if we can. 155-51 is just trying to get his reload. You actually have a shot at this guy through the building right there. I might have investigated that a little bit more. Looks like you're trying to get there, and then we back up, and it's too late. The 53-55 has reloaded right there. So I think the big thing there really, and I'm not saying this is 100% Night Dog, but a little bit more aggression once you started to whittle those guys down, because what happened is you started to win over there, and then your buddies kind of went forward one at a time and died, and you just hung out in that strong point. And it ended up working out pretty nicely with 3,102 damage, 1,860 blocked, 854 assist. But if we back it all the way up, I think that initial position was a little over aggressive. The enemy team did a poor job of digging you out. So good, that works for me too, right? That's nice. One of the best tonics for making a mistake is the enemy team making mistakes. Had that crew come at you, I love when there's a phone call right in the middle of your video. If that crew had come at you, they probably would have dug you out pretty quickly and then gobbled up the rest of your guys. So it really kind of had an overmatch over there, especially at how passive your team was. but they were willing to sit back and just snipe for a bit, and you ended up winning that snipe competition with some of your friends way back there. And that's kind of how that one goes. A good portion of both teams went over into the city. So in the case of a game like this where you send kind of peanut butter spread across the two sides, it ends up working out. But just imagine if all those guys who got locked down in the city had come with you and just gobbled up those few that they had sent to the field, and then you'd come around behind the guys that were in the city. Once you create, an advantage of 8-2 or whatever, it's really hard to come back from. But back to this game right here, I think just a little over aggressive early on, maybe not watching the enemy team. What you did with it, though, was pretty nice, and then maybe just a little bit more aggression in the middle. It was possible that a couple of them just jump all over you because there were some auto loaders and other things going on. But I think you needed to leverage that advantage a little bit faster to put the pressure on these guys while you still had the Panther 2, I think it was, and the Centurion 7-1 available, instead of making them go in forward and rile them up. Because if you push in and the autoloaders and the fast mediums decide they want to come down and try to flank you, those guys now have shots on their side. So it's a little bit of a bait situation, and I know a lot of people don't ever want to give up any hit points to people. They always want their team to give up hit points, but that was probably a case right there where you might have been able to make some hay with it. As it stands, you end up winning anyway. Like I said, you dropped 3,100, so a big part of the win was what you did over there because you really stoppered up a lot of tanks on that side. So thanks for sending that in, that replay in. I think it was a good discussion on there. It's not a case of where I'm going to be able to tell you that had you done X, Y, or Z, it would have changed anything. Just some things to think about around the edges of that one, man. Thanks for sending that in. That's all I've got. We will see you.